Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I am Pretty Poison, a South African simmer. Today I am doing a shell challenge hosted by Miss Leaf. It is a tiny home shell challenge, so we had to keep the squares under 100 tiles. So I haven't really done a build like this before, where I have to use a certain, or where I'm capped on a certain number of tiles. So it was quite fun and interesting to do this challenge. Now, there were actually parts in this build when I was doing the shell. It was in the beginning, so I actually cut that footage out. But I was trying to do a modern platform roofing. But by adding the platforms, it added to the tile count. So I couldn't end up doing that, and I was so sad about that. But it is what it is, because the platforms were obviously picked up as a flooring instead of roofing, even though I was trying to use it as roofing. But I then managed to make it work with different type of roofing, and I think it turned out pretty great. So you will see there on the right side there's a little bump out. I decided to give a glass roofing and put big windows on it because it's like a little sunroom, which I thought is a really cute idea. Then for the left side, I decided to add a balcony. Yeah, just because. But I'll tell you guys a bit later about that balcony and what I do with it. So for now, I'm just trying to figure out the color scheme for the exterior. So I did play around a bit and experiment with different colors, but in the end I did stick to one color, and it is this growing together color, or like wall paneling, wooden wall paneling. And then I added this like stone wall, which is really pretty. I love this stone wall. It is one of my favorite stone walls. Then I decided there's not enough space to put a whole staircase in this house, so let us put a ladder. Now, plans do change later on, but let's get into that later. So I made this house a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom build. So that's right, this small tiny shell has 2 bedrooms, and I'm quite proud of myself for managing to squeeze that in. So let's do the bathroom first. I started off doing the bathroom with the new kit, the sleek bathroom kit. Then I remembered that is one of the kits that I couldn't use for this challenge. There is some packs and kits I wasn't able to use for the challenge. Otherwise it would, how can I say, it would be make the touring difficult because Miss Leaf doesn't have all the packs yet. So then I had to like limit myself. I had to really hold back on that bathroom kit because I did the whole bathroom with that kit and it looked amazing, but I did cut out that footage so you wouldn't see it. But I actually managed to make it work, especially using Dream Home Decorator stuff, and I think regardless the bathroom looks really awesome. So in this house I also tried my best to add as much clutter as possible. So you will see in the bathroom above the toilet I added these 2 base game shelves, and then I tried to put quite a bit of clutter on it. So the technique I'm using here to place the clutter freely on the shelf is I use the Dream Home Decorator shelf, cube shelf. I level it with the base game shelf, then I put the item on it. You first release, then you pick the item up again and hold Alt in, and then move it over onto the base game shelf. Then you can place it nice and freely and like however you would like. For the bathroom lighting I use Business and Hobbies ceiling light that is like this little string of fairy lights, which I love so much. The fairy lights in Business and Hobbies is probably my most favorite lights that I've ever had in this game. Then just to finish off some blank wall space, I put one of my favorite wall art pieces is that black frame with the orange fishes in it, this like koi fish. I love that painting so much, it is so beautiful. Now for the sunroom, I was feeling this, what would you call it though? It's not a corner couch really, but you see the shape of the couch is not like your usual couch shapes. So I was really feeling this couch for this corner because I wanted to put pot plants in the actual corners in that gap there. So I will get to that a bit later. Then by the kitchen I use Parenthood fridge. I really thought this was fitting using the Parenthood fridge because the 2nd bedroom is going to be a toddler bedroom. So I really wanted this house to be like family friendly. Maybe it's a young couple starting out or whatever. So I use Parenthood fridge and even the stove. Now once again, I want to put a lot of clutter in this little tiny build. So I also added some base game shelves there in the kitchen. So with the windows, I tried a technique that I saw my one friend Nasena use on her build in her stream. She first placed the front side of the windows, the front windows, when doing the shell of the build, and then later she put the other windows for the rest of the build. So that's kind of what I was trying to do here. It did work out quite well, I would say. So I added that window there in the kitchen because I'm sure a lot of us do this, but you put the basin by the window. It's just a thing, you know. Okay, and then now I'm doing the clutter again with the Dream Home Decorator Cube shelf. You can also use, there is also a base game shelf, a white base game shelf. I don't have the name right now, but there is definitely a base game shelf you can use the same technique with. So right now I'm just trying to add as much kitchen clutter as possible to just make, you know, like it's a very tiny shell. So I wanted to really fill the shell and make the shell look full and busy, and it's got a lot of stuff despite being such a small shell. So that is really what I'm trying to go for here. So in the kitchen I put a lot of clutter. There is one counter, kitchen counter, that doesn't have clutter so that your sim is still able to cook food and stuff. Speaking of that, this build has been play tested. It is 100% functional. I made some minor changes off camera after this video to ensure that it is 100% functional, so it definitely is. So yeah, don't worry about that, you guys can use this build 100%. So I like placing all my clutter first, and then afterwards I would go around and like change the swatches for all the clutter pieces. Then this outdoor retreat pots and pans, it doesn't snap onto a counter or anything, so I had to raise it using Alt and circle bracket on key 9 to raise it. I think either that one or the one on key 0, one of the two circle brackets, they are used to raising lower items, so that is what I did here. And then I finally like played around and decided what swatches I want on the wall. So I ended up using Refined Living's wooden wall swatch, which I haven't really built with before, but I thought it would be nice to try out this new wall swatch that we have. Then I put that tiny little rug by the basin. Also again, that's a rug I've actually never used before. And then for the underside of the top kitchen counter, or cabinets rather, I put these high school years wall lights. I think it looks really pretty and it gives a bit more light under the cabinets for the kitchen, so you can see what you are cooking and what you are doing at night. Lol. Now I'm like trying to figure out what to do for the living area slash I need a little dining area as well, I guess. So I'm just trying to like see how I'm gonna fit this all in. So I get that base game cabinet and a nice standing TV for the living area, and then behind it I put this, I think it's paranormal pack that I used the table from, and then cozy bistro and then cozy bistro chairs to match it. It's not like matching 100%, like the blue colors you see is a bit different, but I think it looks pretty, like it's good enough. And for the curtains, I use these curtains from the Desert Lux kit, one of my most favorite curtains, and it has like a wall deco thing to extend the railing of the curtain to, you know, make it look like the curtains are pushed aside because they're open and stuff like that. Then I tried out some of the rugs and I decided to go for this nice, it's like colorful, but it's also white kind of rug, and it's got a lot of patterns on it, so it also helps to make the place look a bit busier, I think, and also very much decorative. Then I wanted to try and figure out the wall lights before I do more cluttering in this area, so then I used these base game wall lights. I added this little triangle pillow from For Rent. I love using this pillow in just like on the floor for deco, you know. And then by the empty wall near the kitchen I put the Dream Home Decorator, it's like a little shelving thing, and I added the basket of blankets on top of these shelves as well. And then I just put some basic entrance items, you know, like the coat rack, the umbrella rack. There is a shoe rack and a little rack on the wall for like post and for the keys and stuff, and then a little entrance rug. So I decided to make the little entrance rug also blue, since I've been making a few items blue. Now heading upstairs to the bedrooms area, I finally get to do the first bedroom, which is going to be the toddler bedroom for a girl. So I originally had a door to the balcony as well for this bedroom, but I decided to move it because this bedroom is really tiny, so I rather needed the space to be able to put more stuff into this bedroom. So I put a toddler bed, I put the raccoon teddy from the new business and hobbies pack, which I love this teddy, it's probably my new favorite. And then we got a toy box, we got the blocks they can play with. I decided there's no like little side table, so I put those 3 crates that are stacked, I put that there instead. And then there is a wall shelf to put some clutter and this cute little penguin plushie from the Lovestruck pack. Then also to decorate the bed a bit more, I put these base game event pillows on the bed and also the Lovestruck plushie. I know one of those 2 plushies, I think it's the heart one, is a bonus content item. So not everyone is gonna have that specific plushie, but it's not a make or break deal, like if the plushie's there or not, the bill is still, it's right, you know, it's functional, it looks fine. And then I just add some more deco and also these wall shelves and another little teddy bear that is so cute. And I love putting these butterflies in like girl bedrooms, it is so pretty. And then we got the tree deco, or decal rather, I wanted to say. And then that, it's like framed baby shoes. It's so cute. It's like a memorabilia for your child, which I love putting like in nursery rooms and stuff. And yeah, I'm just like filling up the place a bit with more clutter. I put this teddy on the bed as the pillow, and it is functional still. I did playtest this toddler bed, as I'm sure you saw in the intro of this video. I share some gameplay footage for you guys so you can see I did indeed actually test this build. Now for the master bedroom, I had to put the double bed against the wall in the corner because it wouldn't fit any other way, because the room again it is really small. But this is functional for 2 sims, you just might have to put in a bit more work. When you assign the sides of the bed, the sim assigned against the wall is gonna have to go to bed before the other person, otherwise they won't be able to get in. So if the person is sleeping by the open side of the bed, the second person won't be able to get to the side against the wall, if that makes sense. So they have to get in bed first. Then I tried to cover up as much wall space with wall art as I could as well. Most of my builds, like I feel like this house is really decorated compared to other builds of mine, but especially big builds, I don't over decorate it like this. But for smaller builds, I tend to like over decorate it. But I quite like it because it's a challenge to make a small build have as much items as possible in it. So I was looking for another painting to put there so that there can be more wall art, and I think it is really awesome. So now I'm trying to like figure out which lighting, and I end up using this Grown Together light, which is also one of my favorite lights. And then I add some more clutter because like I said, I want as much clutter as possible. But it must still look good, so it mustn't look like a hot mess. And of course I had to keep in mind that I wanted everything to be functional in this build, so there's that as well. One thing I maybe did not test is if that wardrobe is functional, but you can basically do everything on the mirror that is next to it that is functional that you can do on the wardrobe. So I feel like that is not really a game changer if that wardrobe is functional or not, because you can still do the actions on the mirror to like change or plan your outfits, I guess, and you can click on your sim to change outfits. So that wasn't really an issue for me personally. But if you want that wardrobe to be functional, just delete the clutter in front of it. But like I said, I didn't actually test it, but I highly doubt it would be functional as that is. So now this is just like a little hallway area, which I managed to turn into like this little officey area as well. And how cute is that computer setup? It is so adorable. I think that is that from the Pastel Pop kit? I know the chair is, but the computer, I think it's also from the Pastel Pop kit, which is one of my most favorite kits because it is like, it's like girly, let's say girly and cutesy, which is like a style I love so much. And then yeah, I just put these like blinds on for the windows as like the curtainy blind stuff. And that is basically it for this area. And of course, let's not forget some comfy gamer accents like that juice bottle and a little painting of a flower plant thing to cover up that space. And then once again, you see me using the business and hobbies fairy lights because I mean, it's the best. It's the best and it's like the newest. So I feel like I tend to use the new items like a lot for a while because I mean, it's new. You haven't done it before. So why not take advantage of it? Then I realized there's a piece of roof that goes over the balcony that doesn't have ceiling. So I had to add in the ceiling. And I wanted to add the ceiling in properly for the whole roofing section so that I could put a, what would you call, like a trimming around the building. But then it adds to the tile count, so I couldn't exactly do what I wanted to do there. So then I also couldn't really put the roof or the trimming around the wall by the roof on top because I couldn't add a proper ceiling. You know what, it's fine, I managed to make it work. I think it looks still fine without all that trimmings. Now I'm trying to see how can I decorate the exterior of the house, like the actual shell. So I found this plant to put here on the top. I originally was gonna put plants there maybe from the landscaping division instead of the pot plant division, but then I found this one which I think looks really cool with the black box and the very green plant sticking out of it. And then I look what other plants I can use. So by the sunroom I wanted to make it florally, so then I added those beautiful plants that goes up against the wall. And then just generally all around the build I tried to add some greenery up against the wall. And then I added some pot plants as well outside the windows, which is really pretty. And yeah, I played around. I like tried out some other wall plants, but then I was like, nah, those don't really fit. And then I used these ones from, I think that's Get Together, which I've probably also never used before, but I feel like it just worked in this build. And I was seeing maybe if I could put a little roof over the entrance just so that it's not so out in the open. Maybe it's raining or something. Like maybe it's raining or something and you need to get your keys and unlock the door still, but now you're standing outside in the rain, so I kind of want a little bit of coverage. But I do realize the one I ended up using is like still kind of open. It would definitely rain through that, but you know what, we're just gonna go with it. It's fine for now. So now I finally get to the landscaping part of this build. I really wanted to make this build have like pretty gardens, you know, like I don't know why, but I was kind of feeling a bit of a florally vibe for this build. And I also did put a flower arranging table, that's what it's called. I had to figure out what was that called again. So the person living here could totally make a living off arranging flowers as well. So yeah, I used this fencing around the back. I wasn't gonna fence the front, but I did change my mind however, and I ended up fencing the front as well in sections. But before we get to that, I first had to find some flooring. Like I didn't want it to be ground going up from the sidewalk to the door. I felt like there should be some proper flooring. So then I got this little stone or brickstone type flooring. Then around the fencing, despite the fencing also being like flower bushes, I wanted to add more flower bushes. So that's what I did around the outside of the fencing of this build. And I really hope that it sticks with the gallery, because I know a while back when you put stuff against the edge of the lot, the gallery would delete this. So I just hope that it is still there when you download it from the gallery. Then for this first part in the front yard, I decided to make it like a little fire pit area, you know, something warm and cozy type vibes. So that's what I did there. I used these business and hobbies planter boxes, and then on the other side against the house I made like a actual garden. So then I put some bushes down. You know, these base game bushes are great for filling up landscaping space, or also to lay out where you want to put your landscaping. And then I use some debug trees and bushes as well. This is great for landscaping because not only do you have some more options, but it is for free, so your Sims don't have to pay out of their pockets for the landscaping if you use the debug items. And then these debug rocks I also added. I love using these rocks. I use them in almost all my builds. It is just like those rocks get it. Like I don't like the other rocks you get, like the base game rocks and stuff like that. They're okay, but they're not the best for gardening in my personal opinion. Maybe you guys like them, that's totally fine. So for this side of the front yard garden area, I wanted to do a little zen area. So this is where your sim is going to come and do yoga. If you wanted, you could replace the yoga mat with a meditation pad or somehow rearrange it to put both there, but for this build I just put the yoga mat. Now I'm playing around to see what plants I can use for this little area, and I think both those plants I used there is actually spa day. So this is kind of like a little spa day corner that I made for this build, and it is so pretty. It is play tested, it is totally functional. Then going around the back to the backyard, I added some more gardening in the corners. Like you'll see, the house makes a lot of corners, so I tried to fill that with some nice gardening. So I put these white, I don't know what you call those plants, but I love using white plants in my gardening, so that is what I did over here. And this little purple plant, which is so cute, and this little red vines on the floor, I added that as well to just put some more color. So it's not just white and green, but also, you know, I try and put a little color here and there, so I think that works out pretty good. Then there has to be a big tree in the corner. I feel like every backyard needs a big tree in one of the corners at least. So I actually put the swing set under the tree, and once again it is all functional. So now I'm just rearranging in this little corner. It's kind of like a dead end corner, so then I decided to fill this dead end with some more landscaping as well. And I also really wanted bunnies hopping around here because this is a Easter shell challenge, so I thought it is very fitting to have the bunnies hopping around, which I'm sure you also saw them in the intro clips that I have for you guys in the beginning of this video. The bunnies are so adorable. Then there is the flower arranging table I spoke about earlier. We got a bird tree as well. Again, it fits into the whole having animals and floral theme. I feel like a lot of nature is in this build. Then I add this barbecue from Horse Ranch and a little corner where you can sit and drink tea, because I mean, how cute is that? I really love that tea tray set from the Secret Sanctuary kit, so I tried to squeeze it in there wherever I could, you know. And then also add some more table and chairs so that after the barbecue they can actually sit outside and also eat their food. They don't have to go sit inside. Plus this creates more, how can I say, more stuff for the Sims to do in the small tiny house, because I could have fit a lot inside, so I tried to put more furniture on the outside as well, so they have kind of like another living area on the outside. Now by the flower arranging table, I wanted to add some more decoration from the greenhouse kit, but I wasn't feeling the shelves. It was like going too much into the wall vines, and that was kind of like covering it up too much, so then I decided to delete that. And I added other clutters from the greenhouse kit there on the floor next to the flower arranging table, which I think turns out pretty cool. Now for some terrain tool paint, sorry, not terrain tool, it's the terrain paint. Those are two different things. I wanted to put like this kind of like stone texture all around the build where the Sims are walking, but by the gardening areas I put the sand texture, and then I decreased the size of my brush and I made it a light spray, and then I just tried to make some dark patches along the stone walk area so that you can kind of see where the Sims have been walking a lot. And then I hid the 12 eggs around the garden, and the ducky I hid inside the house. So good luck finding that, you guys. I hope you find all of them. But this is it for this video. Next up is screenshots. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Poison out.